Yo, what's up, everybody? This is coming live from the Slightly Buzzed podcast studio. It takes 30 seconds to go to the App Store and download photos.
I'm not cutting that audio. No, I'm just kidding.
I was just like...
Incriminating evidence. Tim's sitting there, he's like, Nick's gotten really good at my impression.
Oh my god.
Damn, he almost sounds like me.
Wow.
Are we?
Wow.
Are we?
We're definitely rolling.
Okay,
Oh,
so
boys, we are...
gentlemen, ozone day. Can't cut the grass. Not supposed to be driving. I saw a lot of people cutting the grass today. People don't care about the environment.
Wait, and why aren't you supposed to cut the grass?
Well, because it emits CO2 and carbon monoxide, and you want to be conscientious of these. We love Earth.
Wait,
okay?
but where's that going to go tomorrow? All that CO2 you let out.
Well, gas rises, so I assume it's going to go up.
I say we just rip the hole in the ozone
Your
layer
ass.
a little bigger to let all the gas out.
Big doesn't want to breathe, guy.
This guy looked at my
Breathing's
cat earlier.
overrated.
This guy looked at my cat earlier today, and he was like, "That cat holds 30% of all natural gases on this planet." I was
Dude,
like,
it's supplying all the
"Sweet
gravity.
Jesus."
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Bandit was sitting there. He's like, "Hey, call me fat."
Bandit was definitely pissed about that.
Dude, that cat sucks. He's a great guy, but sucks. Anyways, boys, episode 20.
Welcome back, folks.
What Einstock?
Yeah, we jumped into the beer a little bit.
Yeah,
We jumped the gun there.
Arctic Pale Ale.
Yep. So this is an Icelandic Olgari. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, it's called Eintsök. And it's a pretty cool bottle. Got a nice little Viking on there, which, by the way, Icelandic. Oh, dude, this is brewed in the Arctic Circle.
That's badass.
Wait,
60 miles south of the Arctic Circle.
Count it. Don't care.
And this is. Let's
it's
see.
just Eskimos up north.
Yeah,
just-
what is it?
it's
Anything?
Like, "He needs malts."
Anything over 5, you round up.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God.
But yeah, this is made with pure Icelandic water. I
Well-
bet that's some cold water.
That's some quality H2O.
That right there. That's some
this
high
name-
quality H2O.
This name is what you say when you get trapped without a boat up in the Arctic Circle.
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
I stuck. Dude, this man
No.
is Swiss cheese, dude. God, he's just lobbing up straight cheddar. Good for you, dude. That was
Cheers.
good.
This
Cheers.
dude's.
I'll cheers that.
I don't
All
know.
right, I want to toast. And this time I came prepared.
Oh, you got a toast this
We're
time?
toasting to my terrible jokes, but more importantly, we're toasting to all the support we've had on Instagram. I think we
Yeah.
actually hit 1,000, right?
1K?
That's amazing.
1,000.
grand?
And by the time this episode airs, I want 1,500, boys.
We're
For
getting
sure.
1,500.
I want 1,500.
I love seeing all the people commenting on our posts,
Yeah,
sharing
keep it up.
things, sending us messages.
The people are showing us
Very
love.
cool.
We're
It's a
responding
lot of
back to
fun.
it. We love to see
We
it.
It's
love it.
the-
Sending love back.
The
Good
beer
to-
community is really tight-knit and really cool, dude. Like, everyone's here to support each other. It's just a cool spot to be a part
The
of.
positive feedback's been just so uplifting and just reassuring. And keep casually sliding into our DMs. We're all about it.
Nick loves a casual slide in the DMs.
Yeah, if
Let
you're
me
gonna
tell you
slide
something.
in my DM. Do it right. I'm here for it.
Nick's like, doesn't
my
have to be
God.
casual.
Yeah.
Nick.
At NickHubby24. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Nick's like, I started a podcast totally not to get chicks to slide
Did
my
I just
DMs or
plug-
anything.
Did I just plug myself?
I hope not. That sounds bad.
Boys, I might need an intervention. We're gonna have to sit down.
We're right here, bro.
Yeah.
This is an intervention.
As long as I don't pull a Crystalia.
Oh.
Too soon?
Wow, that
Too
was
soon?
Very soon.
That's a tough scene.
Not soon enough, because actually all that stuff happened like 5-6 years ago. So
Thanks, man.
yeah,
But it
so
just came out though recently, right?
yeah, so well actually about a year ago when he was on the Tiger Belly podcast, shouts out Bobby Lee, one of the funniest dudes in the world.
I thought he was about to say Bobby Labonte. I was like, freaking NASCAR.
Okay,
Here we go.
shout out Bobby Labonte, one of the greatest drivers of all time.
What he did on Tiger King.
So what on Tiger Belly, Bobby Lee goes, so Chris, there's some texts that you were talking to some women who were like let's say 16 years old, and he just goes, now I'm mad.
No, dude.
Yeah, Yeah, I'll
Wait,
show
how
you guys
long
the
ago was
clip.
this?
This was about a year ago.
Oh,
It's on
dude.
Tiger, and he's just like, Chris is like, why are we talking about this on your podcast? And he was just like, well, it's just like there's just been
He's
allegations.
like, it seems like it might be an issue.
And Crystal Leo was like, well, no, that didn't happen. He's like, I've got my babies. Those are my fan club. Those are my fans.
He's like,
And
the
other
ladies
than
love
that, he's like, yeah, I get around. No biggie. My name's Crystal Leo.
Bro, it's a lifestyle.
No.
But yeah, so this is actually kind of interesting because this is where the intersection between cancel culture and legality has
Oh,
a
yeah.
very fine line. Because you could make the argument that he didn't do anything necessarily illegal or like incriminating, but it's still
Solicit-
super. He didn't solicit sexual acts though.
Solicited nude pictures.
No,
Does
no.
that fall in
the
the realm?
nude pictures were actually all above the age of 18. But once a story like
Okay.
this breaks, it just kind of all gets convoluted.
Yep.
The issue is, and I'm not trying to defend Chris whatsoever. So if these are true,
Innocent until proven guilty. Just remember the justice system.
what it was apparently he would just like kind of say weird things to girls who were fans that would slide into his DMs or whatever, and he didn't do the due diligence of checking their age.
Yeah.
Does he have to?
I see. That's where I don't think legally you could get him on anything, but that's what I was about to say. Now,
Yeah.
because legally he didn't do anything wrong, doesn't mean he did something wrong morally. But now is his career over because he did something morally incorrect, and
I
there's
think-
receipts for it.
I think morality goes a long way. And I think, especially when you're in the public eye, you
Yeah,
have
but-
to have a strong sense of
Yeah, but
morality.
hang on. If he didn't know if they
Right.
were underage, how does he even know if he's being
Well,
immoral?
let me throw this out here. So one of the things that I was seeing was there's a girl that he was talking to, allegedly around the time when they connected. She had sent him her Instagram. Allegedly, based on the things that she has said, that all of her Instagram was like pictures of high school football games, like her and her friends at the high school, like all the stuff that would like basically allude to the fact that she was still in high school, which I guess she was 16 at the time, so that's high school. But it's like, is it maybe he just followed her, then shot her a DM? Did he look at the? I mean, I have to assume that probably he did, but I don't know.
So I think there's a couple layers to unpack though. One, whose responsibility is it to assume age of consent or to
You're saying
announce
like
age of
him or her?
consent? Yeah, whether it's on a 16-year-old sliding into a 30-year-old's comedian.
No, because they're going to be like, she's too young. She doesn't understand how to behave like an adult. She's the
Exactly.
adult."
Yeah.
Exactly, which is fair. So that's one part. The other part is, should a 30-year-old man be pursuing borderline 18-year-olds in general, which is a completely different discussion we can have. And then third, like, I think what it boils down to is cancel culture appropriate in a sense like this, where he admitted he was like, I was living a lifestyle where I was trying to do the womanizer thing, and it sometimes got taken too far, but it was unknowingly. So where does that land in the morality of the entire situation? And should he be allowed to recover and make a comeback, or is he done?
I just think at the end of the day, society has deemed this as like there's not a lot of leeway.
Oh, and I agree. There shouldn't be leeway for
Exactly.
soliciting stuff from underage women. 100%.
Completely, entirely true, and I agree with that to the end of time. But I mean, I see where you're coming from. Like, there's definitely different. There's a few ways you can look at this one. There's a few different lenses. But I think with cancel culture and the way that social media operates and the way that people spread information, it's just not going to be a good outcome for Chris.
You're probably right.
I think the man's going
Yeah.
to
Oh,
be under
no,
some
I
heavy
think-
heat.
I think he's done.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
see, I don't know though, because Louis C.K. took 2 years off, and now because he's so good in comedy, he's coming back. And also, there was a lot of questions surrounding Louis C.K.'s allegations as well.
Yeah.
because he never got prosecuted for anything. He was
he
just
was
like, "Hey,
they
can
all
I?"
said yes, but it turns out like just don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. So there was consent there, but does it make it okay? Morally, I don't know. But in a society, how far do we let moral justifications for ending someone's career go?
Yeah,
And I'm not saying I know the answer for this, but it's an interesting thing to bring up.
go ahead.
I'm going to make a stance on this because I'm just like, this is my gut reaction to what you described.
Ones and twos, hot take.
I know. I never take hot takes.
Hot take.
If you want to be a womanizer, if you want to be 30 and you want to go for 18-year-olds and beyond, go for it. But if you're going to play that game, you probably do have to do your due diligence. You
Yeah,
need to tread
should.
carefully. You have a responsibility as an adult to make sure that things are going over in a way that we've all deemed appropriate.
Yeah, I think I think
That's
it's
what I
like
think.
That was like a hot pocket, bro.
yeah. I think it's like you have to
Just
assume
scalding.
you have to
Okay.
assume a level of risk when engaging in behavior like that. And the interesting thing is, I think his statement was like, yeah, I didn't assume or I didn't do risk assessment evaluations on what I
Yeah.
was doing. He was like, I was living a lifestyle and got caught up in it. Do I think he's the worst guy in the world? No, I think there's much worse people out there. Do I
Yeah.
think he made some really bad errors in judgment? 100%. But I'm fascinated by the idea of cancel culture, and if someone makes an honest mistake, should they suffer for the rest of their life? And then where does forgiveness as society come in? And then another thing to think about is, as a marketplace of ideas in the United States, we can say we don't like that guy, so we're not going to watch his stuff.
Yeah.
But where should our energy be put into supporting other people or just shitting on him?
Sure. I don't know. I don't know if this counts as the other side of this coin. Maybe it's the other half of this coin. Okay, so like
How
you
many
have two
sides
sides,
do
but maybe it's a
coins
half
have?
of one side. Maybe it's the other half to one of the sides. That's what I'm trying to get at. So
He's like, we're working with an octagon.
being in Hollywood, stuff like this comes out. Your career is based on the fact that like you network with people within Hollywood. So you end up getting a lot of opportunities through potentially collaboration with other people. How many people are going to want to bring on Chris moving forward to do projects if they like nobody wants to be associated with somebody in this realm of things.
Could
so
he
I think
take like a behind the scenes role?
well
that
possibly,
work?
but I also don't know like
I don't think that's what he wants.
no, and that's the
I
thing
didn't say
too.
it
I don't
was.
think
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if he truly does get canceled and like has a hard time getting out in the public eye because nobody cares to see any of his stuff anymore or like cares what he has to say,
That's fine.
he could potentially like take on a role of like trying to go behind the scenes. But anything he's associated with is gonna have some type of like a black eye associated to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just people are gonna be, I feel like, just apprehensive to work with them.
I agree.
And I think that's completely fair. A very successful podcast, The Fighter and the Kid, which had Chris D'Elia on a bunch with Brian Callen and Brendan
the
Schaub.
time.
They came out, and Brian was like, that's my friend. He's like, we have spent a lot of time together. I've never heard of him doing anything like this. I've never seen him do anything like this, in all honesty. But if that's true, that's
Bad.
That's very bad and that's very messed up, and he
Yeah.
deserves to atone for those sins. And Brendan Schaub kind of took a slightly more, I guess, emotional approach to it. He was just like, I'm mad, man.
Yeah.
That's my friend, and he was pulling this shit. What's up with that?
Dude, because it can be tough, man, especially when your friends are in the public spotlight like that as well. Like, it puts a strain on them because they might still want to be friends with the guy, and they probably
Yeah.
will be, but it's like they're probably going to get scrutinized for not being as hard on him as everybody else feels that they should be, maybe.
Yeah, and
So, I think that they might get some backlash for it,
I
potentially.
See, to me, from a rational perspective, how they responded, I think to us, who I would like to argue are rational individuals, their response was perfectly fine. I think to the outrage culture generally promulgating on the left side of social media,
Yeah,
that's not enough
sure.
to take a rational approach. It is
What's
to
enough
get
for them.
to completely
decimation?
Yeah.
exactly.
Dude, it's status quo lately.
It's that it's groupthink. It is a mob mentality of coming through and ruining someone's life. Think about what was the dude, Aziz Ansari?
Yeah.
He had an awkward date with someone, and it came out during the Me Too movement. He didn't do anything improper. The girl was like, yeah, he didn't really do anything improper, but he made me feel awkward on the date.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, yeah. And it's like, that's how dating goes sometimes. Like, sometimes it doesn't knock
It's
out of
crazy,
the park.
Telling me.
Like, dude, it's like...
Yeah, well,
I'll admit it.
The
And the thing is,
mentality
like-
of these, the mentality
And-
of social media and the way people interact on it. I mean, dude, it's insane.
And if you want to make the argument that there has to be drastic measures even to things that aren't necessarily on the same playing field as like a Me Too movement cause to eradicate all of it, that's at least a philosophical argument we can engage in, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't think so.
Well, that's it's
I don't
not.
think
It's
that's
half the
good
time.
either.
There's no conversation about it.
Well, I think if you look at stuff I don't think it's necessarily good or healthy, but it is effective. If you have a quote revolutionary cause for something, you want to tie up all the loose ends. You know what I'm saying?
But that shouldn't be our goal. It shouldn't be to have a cause to push. It should be to try to achieve the most ideal society, and there needs to be an open debate about what that actually is. You can't just
Oh,
come in
yeah,
with
no.
your ideas of what's right.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Force them down everyone's throat.
I agree 100%.
Doesn't mean you don't have a voice. Doesn't mean you can't
Yeah.
express what you think.
And I
But
think
the-
go ahead.
I was about to say, but when it comes to how society in all actuality operates, what wins out and what takes precedent over other things tends to be the ones with little force behind it. And whether
Yeah.
that's healthy or not, but I could never expect in a society of 350 million people
Yeah.
to have civil discourse to decide what we want society to be. That's not what happens. And what does happen is the strong ones win.
But here's the thing: is the strong ones win, but when you have strong reactions, a lot of times you get a strong reaction. So what
Yeah.
I'm concerned about is if
Exactly.
Yeah.
not handled appropriately, very, very good points behind the intentions of people who are pushing what we would consider cancel culture are going to get lost in an argument with those who are going to come back around and fight it way too hard on the opposite side.
Oh,
I don't want to see that happen.
No, I agree. I don't think any of us want to see that happen, but I think
I
it's
think it will, though.
going to. I mean, if you just take like American politics for example, it's always a pendulum. Overreaction, underreaction.
that's so
Overreaction.
true.
It's how humans are, and I hate when people say that human nature as an excuse for stuff
Right.
is a terrible argument, but that's how we operate. We study ourselves for a reason.
I think what's concerning the most, and it's kind of like this is just a general overview of kind of my. Probably you guys might share the same opinion as me on this as well, but the current atmosphere is a lot of things are emotionally. Everybody reacts emotionally out of the gate, and that's what social media is. It's a platform where people can just put initial thought out without actually taking time to like maybe think about something and maybe through other lenses. They just have an emotional reaction. They put it out there. So
Yeah.
social media is like very emotionally triggered, and I think we're starting to get to that point where it's feelings have superseded just
Facts.
logical discourse.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's going to cause and is causing, and we're seeing the repercussions of it, just major lacks of communication.
Yeah.
And just complete lapses in how to go about handling things correctly. Because
Yeah.
we're trying to overcompensate to appease people.
And I think in a lot of ways, in the short term, maybe that's not as terrible as we want it to be. But in the long run, from a societal perspective and a nation state perspective, you cannot continue on down a course with a greater and greater divide, people moving farther and farther apart. Because what holds a nation together or a society together is commonly shared values. And when these shared values that have been the backbone of a society or a nation are no longer shared, that's when civil war happens. That's when stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter that you and me have differing opinions on economic policy anymore. It's just that you have a different opinion of economic policy than me. Therefore, you don't care about people.
Right. There's
or,
like an unwillingness to like see both sides.
Yeah, exactly. And now that there's you can't just be like, okay, well, me and him don't agree on economic policy, but we all agree that freedom is important.
Sure.
So I can at least he's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
We might disagree on how we get there, whatever. As soon as that underlying aspect goes away of at least he cares about freedom.
Yeah, we're just trying to ultimately achieve a common good.
Exactly. But the thing is now I think the biggest issue I see is that what common good is for two distinct groups in this country are two completely different things.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the social fabric starts to tear apart.
Well, how do we get around that? How do we stop that two-sided conversation and open up a real discussion?
It's $1 million question, dude. If we knew that, we probably wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, I just tend to think people
Okay.
are way more in line with one another than
It's-
we realize.
Well, probably. Yeah. Well, I mean, the
I
time will
don't.
tale goes is like if you
Why
put
do you
two
think
people.
not?
I don't.
Hang on. Like the time will tale goes, if you put two people in a room who have totally opposite opinions, but you put them in a room face to face and have them talk them out, half the time they're able to come to some kind of conclusion where they ultimately just maybe not agree with each other, but have come to like an agreement to disagree, but ultimately have coinciding likeness on some ideas.
Exactly. I think that was the case for a very, very, very long time. I think recently in the past 20 years with the advent of social media and the way, I think what it comes down to is the American household. I think people are raised in a manner where the value systems are completely different than what they were 30 years ago. And now instead of the common good of society, you were raised from a very young age to think you are the greatest gift on God's green earth.
Yeah,
and
Definitely was not taught that.
well, same, but I think that's the minority these days.
Yeah,
I
it's like a
truly
lot of
believe
like
that.
it's like look out for just you and only you.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. So I think
see it a lot.
where the solution could be had is in the household. I think that's the only. You can't put a governmental regulation down to change how we engage in discourse with people. What it needs to be is a conscious societal change
Yeah.
between individuals, and I think that always boils down to the household.
Yep.
And
Like
I
the word
think it has to
individuals.
be an entire cultural movement to be like, okay, we need to find the lowest common denominator and then work up from there.
No, I agree. And what is the lowest common denominator? It's the individual. And I like that you said family, because family ultimately teaches you the right way to function in the world. But
Yeah.
I do think it does need to be amongst individuals. Like, individuals need to take responsibility for, we always say, be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
That's great. But it should also be not just the change you want to see, as in, like, you force what you want to have happen, but you take it upon yourself to say, I don't want to fight other people. I truly believe my thoughts are on the right track, and I'd like to understand how they're not coming to the same conclusion. I'd like to
Yeah.
understand how they don't see it the way I am. Not just to be like, you don't, you're wrong, I don't
Punch.
like you. Because now you're creating a gap.
Yeah, and I
Do you
think to
agree?
build off that, like, it's good to not only like understand and look at internally what's going to be the best outcome from you, but like what's possibly going to be good for you and others. So not just having that self-centric idea of what's going to put me ahead of everybody else, but like
like
making
that.
sure that you're like
So-
considering what the impact's going to be on everyone else
Even
as well.
even if you might have to sacrifice
Yeah.
what you wanted, because it's gonna
Okay,
be
And
so-
everything's opportunity cost, so you have to find something what's going to appease the most.
Okay, so in all of my like political theory research, what I focus mostly on is what size and what factors are conducive to a successful society. Correct?
Yeah.
I think I truly don't think you can have 400 million people, 350 million people in a society under democratic stress and a non-threatening governmental force backing up these common beliefs to do that. I don't think you can have people do that. And it's just due to the sheer size.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think something that, would be important to note is that in America, we are the great democratic experience. We are the melting pot. There's no
Yep.
other nation like us, and we've never seen another nation like us. So when we have hundreds and hundreds of ethnicity groups throughout our nation that all have different and distinct histories, those affect how they are played out right now, right?
What do you mean they're played out? Like the way we interact?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, all right.
But I think what we can do is return to a local scale based society. So instead of focusing on the United States as a whole, because every state's going to be different, every state has different people.
Yeah.
But you're more likely to feel bad if something happened to your neighbor than
Right.
if something happened
To some dudes
in California.
a couple thousand miles away.
Yeah, exactly. So if we return to caring about our neighbors, caring about the tight community, and then slowly grow outward, but also like you don't even necessarily have to get it to that national scale. Obviously, patriotism.
Maybe just
is
regional.
important. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
We have like the
Regional.
Midwest, the East Coast, the Southeast. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like if everyone in their own areas starts to care about their individual communities more,
Yeah.
that will raise the entire setting up.
Yeah, but then that gets back to individual responsibility, because
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you have to take it upon yourself to be a contributor and a maintainer of your community.
Exactly.
Which I don't think is the mindset at all right now. I think I'm not saying anything in contrast to you. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
I realize that's not
Yeah.
what people think about every day. They don't think, how do I
Make my
contribute to
community
my
better.
community? They
Yeah.
think like, how do I make my life better?
Yeah.
It's the wrong question.
That probably definitely goes for a majority of people. There's obviously people who don't fit that mold and who are very active in their communities and are trying to make promising or just really good, going about great
Yeah,
causes
there's
for their
people
own
that
community.
definitely
Yes.
give. I definitely
Yeah.
know that I have had mornings though where that thought didn't cross my mind.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't think about my community at all.
Oh,
I was
not-
like, what
no,
do I
not-
need for me today?
Not whatsoever so. And I think that's where I'm talking about. In the past 20 or 30 years, that change has happened in the household where people aren't going
Yeah,
over to
that's
their
fair.
neighbors and bringing, when someone moves in, bringing them a cake or bringing them a six-pack or whatever it is.
Hmm.
The-
Howdy, neighbor.
Exactly. But you can tell in a community, like in this subdivision, you guys are really good friends with a lot of your neighbors, right? I guess
More-
not really good
so,
friends,
not
but
so much.
but very cordial at the least.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very just neighborly like, hey, how you doing? That's about it. I mean,
We got
things
these-
don't really extend too far beyond that.
These neighbors, the Hubbies in the back of the sub.
Those guys,
Just-
brother,
you got to keep an eye
those
on that.
guys stink.
I heard the old man likes to stand outside with his shirt off and water the grass. It's a tough scene.
You're the only one with your shirt off. What are you talking about?
Oh, easy.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't believe we got that far down that rabbit hole. But honestly, I think these are the kind of conversations that need to be had if we want to build a more conducive society for everyone involved.
Well,
I think it's important.
I think that we do have a system which is super centralized at the top, and we've probably seen some examples throughout the last 40, 50 years where because of that, things aren't prioritized appropriately. You were telling me something about like the STEM fields, I think earlier
Oh,
today, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You could elaborate. I don't.
I guess
remember.
okay. Let's take a slightly buzzed intellectual podcast. I'm here for it, boys. So one of the most notable
Spill my beer.
Same.
intellects in the world today, his name's Eric Weinstein. It might be pronounced Weinstein. Genius, mathematician by trade, I want to say, physicist, and he's economic.
Genius, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Stark.
what he is. He was on one of my favorite podcasts a long time ago, and I never saw the episode. And I've seen him on I've seen him on Rogan. I've seen him on a myriad of other podcasts, and it was interesting to see him break down how the upper class in certain institutions, maybe not upper class as far as like wealth, because I think that's a completely different conversation, but the upper class of institutions we see
Like
in
power
America.
hierarchies?
Yeah. So like
In the world of education.
yeah, specifically in the world of education and sciences and stuff like that, and STEM fields.
STEM.
We noticed what his argument was that the best way to make a more conducive society would be through economic growth for everyone. And the best way to promote economic growth moving forward is to promote new technologies, because we've been kind of at a standstill for the last 40 years as far as other things other than the phone. Like, he's like, but we had that technology. He thinks a lot of large companies are actually withholding technology to make sure their market share stays high.
Most conducive in a capitalist economy.
Yeah. But what his argument was that there was not necessarily conspiracy amongst all these higher institutions to keep people down, but it was to transfer wealth from the younger people to the older people through making college loans non-forgivable, to making people pretty much give up 4 to 10 years of their life if they want to go into STEM fields, not making money, going to school, doing research for these higher institutes of learning, to just not get paid well. And he thinks the best evidence of this is that STEM field companies claim that there's a job shortage, but there's no such thing as a job shortage in a true free market capitalistic society. It is that people don't want to work for the wages they're given.
Or
it's
opportunity hasn't been discovered yet.
Yes, exactly. But it's not that there's a job shortage.
Actually, I think what he said means more, because
if
you had like half wages, you could hire twice the amount of people for the same price and compete at the same level. Probably compete better because you can create more product, right? So you're saying you don't want the wages.
Yeah, no, exactly. So he's saying that people, especially STEM fields, so scientific research firms, they are purposely driving down the living wage, or the wage, the working wage for STEM fields to dilute it, but people aren't. They're like, yo, I just spent $120,000 in my 4 or 5 years of college doing research for a higher institution of learning to get a job that pays $35,000 a year doing research. That's not doable. I'm going to go do something else that makes maybe $60,000 or $70,000 a year, and just be not going into what I was trained to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty common these days. I mean, there's plenty of people that don't go into these fields of learning because of the amount of debt that you have to ensue in order to actually, one, graduate, two, enter your field, and then how much debt are you actually taking on over the long run on compounding interest?
Well, I agree, but the issue that he really said is that over the past 50 years, there's been such a myth and such a push in higher learning to say that college is necessary to have a good life.
Yeah.
There's a great lie that's told to us since early. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys had them in your elementary school, at least fourth grade. We had college days.
Oh, yeah.
We had like college days where you would go and say, you get to wear a T-shirt of the school you want to go to, and you do research on it. I did that at my elementary and middle school, and that's like one of those things. You're promulgated this lie over a long time that if you want to make a good living in 2020, you have to go to 4 years of college. But the research behind that does not show that to be true.
You know what? I want to add something to that. I also think part of the lie is if you go to college, you will get a good living. So
Yeah, exactly.
You have to get it. It's also that once you do that,
you're guaranteed. Yeah.
So like the real thing that college is it gives you a step in the door. It doesn't get you all the way in the door, but it gives you an opportunity to get into the door a little bit. So it gives you some real world experience, and it obviously gives you some solid knowledge that will help you propel your career, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the intention, but at the end of the day, unless you want to be a doctor or something that actually, like, you actually need to go and learn from people who are specialized in that field.
Yeah.
I mean, half the time you really don't need it. Like, you can learn about this stuff in a library.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for real. Like, you can go sit. There's plenty of resources.
You can take your computer not to the library.
Yeah. I was like, you can go read a book. You can go surf the internet. Like, all this information is so accessible. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to school for political science and economics.
Bro, I went to school for business.
Yeah, which isn't
reflection. What's going on, boys?
No, I was about to say, which is like one of those things where it's like, I look back at all my education, 3 different campuses, some of the best known public universities in the world, and it's like, I didn't learn anything that wasn't just regurgitated by a professor who is just trying to make him or her is trying to make a name for themselves in the field that they're in. And I hate to say it, but like college, the more I look into it, the more it just kind of seems scammy. And
if it wasn't so expensive, I wouldn't be so mad.
Exactly.
I leave it at that.
No, and I think
but
you
they
can
operate as businesses, and they're just like, this is what the market value is, so this is what we can charge.
Well, the thing is, that's not what the market value is.
They've deemed it.
No. This is the important distinction to make. The reason why it's not a market value is because these loans are given out no matter what.
Sure.
And we don't.
So
really
that
get to
artificially
argue the
raises
price.
that. You don't even get to decide which lender you go through FAFSA.
Yeah, there's no competition to drive the price down.
Yeah. So
And
market value is
strategies.
completely arbitrary at that
but
point.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, people are still willing to take on the loans. Therefore, the market value.
Okay, I get that, but actually think about your thought process when you're 17 years old deciding to go to a college.
Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of told, like, this is the right move. And so you think that that's the right move, so then you go on and you take it, and you go for it, and then you take on that debt if you have to.
And I'm not saying that there still isn't an important distinction to make that parents of students going away should have a voice in that opinion.
Sure.
But when that kid's told from the time he's 5 years old that he needs to go to college in order to have a successful life, he's going to fight he or she's going to fight tooth or nail to get there.
Yeah, but if you're the parent,
what are you going to do? Tell your kid you can't go to college?
You grew up going to college. You've been told that. It's probably worked out semi-decent for you at the minimum. You definitely know that if you don't send your kid to college, things could get iffy. I'm not saying they will necessarily, but it could get iffy.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to tell them.
Well, it's seen as a
You should
security
probably think
blanket,
about
but
it.
it's not a for sure thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying it just does feel more for sure than not.
Well, I mean, they want to paint that pretty picture because you're getting ready to take on a bunch of debt.
No, but you also said that it opens doors. So if you're a parent, you're like, definitely get that degree at the minimum. Open some doors for yourself.
It absolutely opens doors.
And I think
is it worth $40,000?
And
I said it wasn't. I already made that.
Exactly.
Per year at least.
I was kind of being sarcastic with that. If you didn't pick up.
Another interesting note on the whole collusion aspect of higher institutes making sure college is propagated, transferring wealth from young people to old people, is that 3/4 of jobs that make over $75K a year in America right now require a college degree. Why is that? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Because there's so many people with degrees. It's like, how else are you going to weed
justify?
people out?
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, let's say that someone comes from an impoverished background, can't afford to go to college, works his way up in a company, gets to a certain point, knows the company,
you don't have a degree,
knows the company way better, has better technical skills, is better at whatever it is, and this definitely has to happen. And then someone comes out of a 4-year university, total shithead, messed around in his frat for the past 4 years, but has the degree, even though he didn't actually retain or learn too much. That guy's going to get the job over him solely because he was able to afford college and this guy wasn't.
What are these called? Barriers of entry?
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like to me there's a lot more. I guess this was more eye-opening, this podcast to listen to, as far as there are a lot more barriers to entry than we want to admit, and there's a great lie that's told us that if you just work hard, you're good to go.
It literally doesn't
But
matter
it really
what you
doesn't
want to do.
happen.
You have barriers at every step of the way, whether they're small or large.
Yeah.
Like, you genuinely do, whether you even realize it or not. Some people are able to hurdle some of them better than others, but at the end of the day, there's barriers of entry to every single point in your career. Like, there's barriers of entry to get into college.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously have to do well in your ACT or your SAT. You have to go through and you have to pass all the exams. You have to graduate, and then you have to find a job. For a lot of people, that's the hardest one.
Finding a job.
Finding a job.
Yeah, it's not
Because it's not a guaranteed thing. And there's such a saturated market.
joining the job market during the middle of the biggest recession in the past 100 years. Tough scene for your boy. I'm just like,
Seriously, I mean, how many college grads do you hear about come out of school and they're like, I can't find a job?
Right now, most places I reach out to, they're like, we're on a hiring freeze.
Yep.
Dude, the quarter of the nation's unemployed right now.
Yeah.
We had over 44 million filings of unemployment.
What's crazy is that, well, I shouldn't say it's crazy. It's probably a good thing. But they said that the unemployment came in lower than what they projected. Not by much, but it still came in lower.
I know, but what happens?
Not
when
that
you
that's
project
just
super
an
high?
arbitrary point that really doesn't hold a lot of validity for this conversation,
Also,
but just something that I thought was
It
interesting.
wouldn't shock me if they just said that to help the stocks keep
boost
going.
stocks.
Yeah.
It's news manipulation.
And that's fair. I mean, it happens all the time.
Oh my gosh, we
You can only
break it
take
down.
for surface value.
It's like I'm like, oh, I only killed 2 people. You thought I was gonna kill 3. It's like, all right, I'm still a murderer.
Like, you know,
my
dude, I'm proud of you,
gosh,
bro. You
I
only
took
killed
it
2.
there. I took it
No,
there,
we are like, this podcast has been electric 'cause we're just taking on all of society's biggest issues,
Well,
and we're
I
just
think
like,
about these
dude,
things.
here we
I
go.
think about these
We could
things.
make 1,000 episodes on society's biggest issues, like penguins, bro. They're dropping nitromethane everywhere.
No,
dude.
penguins are the only good thing in this society.
It's probably not even nitromethane. Every gearhead out there is just like penguins, huh?
Happy Feet sucked.
Nitromethane.
put a NOS tank in its ass and just let it fart all day.
Dude, when
Free nitrous.
just a complete side note about Happy Feet real quick to completely digress.
Yeah, how did he just bring up penguins?
Listen, dude.
Yeah, dude, where did that come from?
No, we just got done talking about STEM, which is research-based fields. There's researchers who are trying to study penguins and they're not able to because it's laughing gas, dude. Their poop, everything they do.
So,
It
dude,
makes it hard for
do
them
you
to spend a
think-
lot of
Are you
time
telling
around
me
them.
penguins are funny to you?
Penguins are
Are you
elite.
saying
Okay,
Penguins
okay.
are
funny
hilarious.
looking?
You ever seen a video of a penguin trying to walk along some ice and it falls and it goes? "Meh."
Yeah, it's like you after 4 beers walking home from
Yeah,
the bar.
Yeah, except I roll my ankle and I cry. It's not a It's like a wah for the next 20 minutes.
They're spirit animals.
I did carry
And then
you
I
home
probably
one
throw
time.
up because he probably fed me tequila shots.
Um,
Force-fed tequila shots, I might add.
Wait, dude, do you think penguins are then...
What?
Oh, dude, this is an individualistic society. You can choose
Penguins
to do
are the
or what.
sheep of the ark.
No, do you think that penguins are just walking around faded all day if they just poop laughing gas?
They're probably just like, bro.
Dude, what if the entire...
you're black and white and I'm black and white.
Boys, too
Whoa.
real. How do we know our farts aren't laughing gas? Because every time people I know fart,
No, every time I fart, nobody laughs.
Every time I fed down here, you guys just get mad at me.
I farted.
Kyle, you get
Alright,
you,
you know,
get
I've been-
I
absolutely
was gonna say, I
I've
farted
been
before this
refuted.
episode even
Okay.
started.
I
Kyle was
laughed.
like, "Did you really just bomb the set?" And like, yeah, dude.
You
It's like,
did. We're
it's like
close
Vietnam.
quarters.
all
I don't
over
know.
again.
I have never met a dude who gets more pissed about farts than you, dude. This is 100%.
Here's
Yeah,
the
and then
best
this
part.
guy will just sit there and just go, kaboom. And then you'll just be like, dude, what was that? You'd be like, you guys do it all the time.
I'm not gonna lie, farts are hilarious. I still.
I'm just looking out for myself.
Yeah, he's like, it's a natural process, okay? This is the biosphere.
This is what's wrong with
This is
America.
This is
biology.
so true. This is so true.
He's like, my gut says it's time to fart.
All right.
Splash.
Wait, but you're saying that they can't research penguins because the farts are like...
They can't do prolonged studies because a lot of the times the researchers find themselves disoriented and they can't actually perform like cognitive abilities that
Dude,
require them to
what
do
if-
significant
Dude,
research.
okay, here's crazy. What
It's
if
laughing
like,
gas, bro. It's like going to the dentist.
what if like 100 years ago
That
when
penguin's just sitting there. He's like,
when like people started really researching the Antarctic Circle or wherever the penguins live. Pretty sure some of them are in like South Africa, but they
Yeah,
just
there's-
like
there's
they
some warm weather penguins.
slowly adapted to be able to fart out laughing gas as a
Like-
defense mechanism. It's like their first line of defense is chemical warfare with their fats.
except they're just sitting there. They're like trying to outswim an orca and they're just like, fat. They can't
Bubbles
do it.
just go up.
Yeah. They're like, gas rises now. That orca's just coming in hot from down under. You're going to have a bad time. But I'm going to be real, though. If I was a penguin, dude, I would not be hanging out in the South Pole. Screw that, dude. I'm going to South Africa. You want to know why? It's warm.
Just kidding. That's where all the great white sharks are.
Yeah,
Boom.
okay, so,
That's true.
okay, what do you want? Do you want orcas or great whites?
Dead or alive.
Definitely great whites, dude.
And orcas are
Great,
perfect.
orcas
Orcas
kill
are-
great whites.
Orcas
That's
are.
why I want the great whites.
No.
Oh, you said you want great whites.
Okay,
Yeah.
also,
Yeah, I'd take the great white.
This is
It's way
something
scarier.
I'm going to completely make this stat up, but I'm going to say there's a lot more great whites in South Africa than there are orcas in the Arctic.
Orcas?
Orcas.
in the
You
Arctic.
killed that.
I see Arca's pretty sick
I don't
NASCAR
know.
series. Look
I
it
don't
up.
know.
Let's see this.
I will,
If
though.
there's
Hang on.
more
For
orcas,
See, here's
or
the
great
thing.
whites,
You don't
'cause
see
I'm
many
pretty
great white sharks lobbing themselves up on beaches to get a penguin. Orcas will, like, beach themselves to get a penguin. Those things do not stop. They are like
No,
the
orcas are crazy.
Dude,
Orcas are crazy.
they're the apex predator of the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, they kill great sharks,
Well,
great white
only
sharks.
because Megalodon died off.
Yeah, dude, talk about a freaking beast. 52 feet or something, 56 feet?
Dude,
like,
they said
longer
they
than
were
a school
like,
bus.
Yeah, no, they said they were like up to 70 feet.
No, it's like 59 feet.
I just watched a BBC documentary on them the
Bro,
other day.
I want to say, look up how big is the biggest megalodon.
Boys, I'm still trying to figure out if there's more orcas
No,
or
no,
great
no,
Just
whites.
type in like
just type in
The biggest
megalodon.
megalodon, dude. We have a megalodon tooth at my house. They're this big.
Dude.
They're huge.
Honestly,
man.
dude,
Megalodon, look up megalodon right now. Megalodon size.
Great white shark.
God damn it.
That's
It's-
not megalodon.
No, it's definitely not megalodon. Let's
Boom.
wiki
Dude,
that.
this is going to be
59
59 feet to the T.
Jeez, dude.
Well, I just got absolutely owned.
What's up, bro?
Look at that tooth. Remember the classic shark
Dude,
necklaces?
don't
These
challenge
things
me
are-
about
Dude, okay,
Megalodon
okay, real
information.
quick,
Dude.
real quick. What in the world was like 2005's obsession with shark tooth necklaces? Because you bet your ass I had one.
I had one too.
Yeah.
I got it in Florida.
I got it in
I was
California.
afraid to go in the ocean. You
I
want to know
blame-
why?
I blame Kelly Slater.
I blame Jaws.
I don't know who
Oh,
I
wait, no,
blame,
no,
but I'm
okay.
pissed off.
Kelly Slater. Okay,
Who
never
was
mind. I
he
took
dating?
that.
Who was that really hot chick?
Kelly
Slater was
Kapowski?
dating? I'm gonna figure this out. He dated some.
Wait, are you talking about
USA
AC Slater?
sweetheart.
Kelly
oh,
Slater
you're talking about
sounds like a
the
chick.
skate, the surfer,
The
yeah.
surfer.
Wait, can we?
What?
Talking about Soul Surfer?
No.
Yeah, I thought we were talking
no.
about Saved by the Bell for a
No,
second.
he dated some chick.
That's Kelly Slater?
Yeah, dude.
Looks like a pedophile.
Okay, let's be real about the
he's
fact.
dope,
You know
dude.
how
World-class
crazy you have
surfer.
to be like a world class surfer.
Dude, I'm basically a world-class surfer.
I saw you surf. I'm much worse than you, but
I was just saying,
Definitely.
it took me 2 tries to stay.
oh my
Dude,
gosh,
he
she
dated
got Tom
Giselle.
Brady's
Is that
girl.
Giselle?
Oh, no.
Oh, what is it? Oh, my
Oh,
God.
Oh, dude,
Pamela
wait, no,
Anderson.
go through this list.
Dude,
Cameron
he
Diaz,
went off.
Giselle. Oh my gosh,
Top 3.
I don't know who
See,
that is.
He
but-
probably wore a shark tooth necklace, dated Pam Anderson, and every dude.
Surfer
in their
necklaces were
mother
in, dude.
was
They
like,
were
I
in.
want
He's
one.
just got a
But it was
Clearly
so.
the tooth.
I had a very contradicting experience with it because I went to Florida and I was afraid to go in the ocean because I
Pussy.
saw Jaws right before then, so I was petrified.
Oh my
But I
God.
got a shark tooth necklace, and it was like one of those surfer beaded ones.
Yeah,
that
I had like the
braided
same one.
beads in the
Did you have a
sand.
black tooth or a white
Nah,
tooth?
mine was a white tooth.
I had a black tooth. It's pretty sick.
All right, well, you know what, dude? That's
That shark had
cool,
cavities, bro.
bro. Yeah, dude, your shark had gingivitis,
Nah, damn.
so that's facts.
My shark sucks.
Look at this guy's jawline. It puts you to shame.
It does, man.
Tough scene, bro.
Kelly Slayer.
Good for.
Yeah,
good for him.
Slayer, dude, for sure.
This guy.
Oh, dude,
Yo,
that dude killed the '90s.
Oh, absolutely.
That guy was like, I'm kind of stupid, but chicks dig it.
No, dude, I don't think he is.
Probably not.
I don't think you can get to the top of most things and be dumb. You just have to figure out how you measure intelligence.
Well,
If you want to talk about intellect surfing, he's got you beat by a lot, man.
oh well, I mean, like surfing for sure. You can be good at that. I don't know, dude. I feel like there's definitely a lot of stupid people that make it pretty far.
No, dude, it's like you can't get to the top of the surfing pyramid. It's that guy. He's like, and I was just like,
like,
ja, and then I was just like, skadoosh.
Yeah,
And
literally.
I was just like, all time.
and that reporter's just sitting there, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like, well,
Dude, this guy dated Giselle though. That's
Dude.
Tom's just sitting there. He's just like, 6 rings, 6.
he's like Bobby 7.
We're going to Tampa. I'm learning to surf.
No, Tom Brady's like a killer skier, dude.
It's not surfing.
I know. He loves, dude. Just okay. Honest thoughts on like Giselle as a babe. I've heard
So-
a lot of people say.
I mean, I'm not
as
gonna lie, dude.
impressed.
She's not even in my top 10. Straight up, like I could name 10. I could name 10 before Giselle. Like,
Yeah,
and
I don't
that's
think
not
that'd
to
be
say
hard.
She's bad looking. Like
No,
the
she's
number one
got
supermodel.
she's got that. she's got that supermodel strut.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Well, and she's got that accent. The accent's dope. I'm about it. Where's she
Yeah.
from? Brazil?
Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, she's a very good-looking lady, and Tom's just sitting there. He's like, yes, I know.
Well,
But-
dude, the craziest thing is Tom was hooking up with Bridget Moynihan before he married
Yeah.
Giselle, and that was who his first kid was with.
yeah.
Bridget Moynihan had it going on in 05.
She's probably still got a halfway going on today.
I actually saw a picture of it the
Look,
other day.
we can look up Bridget
Bridget Moynihan.
Bridget Moynihan. I'm trying to get my
She
creep
definitely
on.
had crazy girl vibes.
Listen, dude. Oh, I'm already sus.
Yeah, dude, she
Ooh.
dropped
Oh,
off
no.
hard.
Well, she.
Tell me this right now.
Yeah, she's only.
Tell me this right now.
49.
Look up the show Hannibal and tell me that she does not look exactly like the dude from Hannibal. Look at this guy. Hang on. Just look up Hannibal. Go to yeah. Look at that dude. They look exactly the same.
Oh my gosh.
What's that guy's name?
No, they don't.
We,
Stop it.
hang on, no. What's his name?
This
Mads?
is literally Lashif from the Bond series.
Yeah.
Remember
dude,
Lashif?
Exactly. Yeah, he had the scar in his eye. or
Dude,
whatever.
we used to
Yeah.
make a joke that Lashif was so badass. What he did to blow off steam was play high stress poker. That's what he did.
He's probably like, this is relaxing.
That's actually
literally
nuts.
Lashif.
Hannibal.
You think he looks
yeah.
like Moynihan?
Did you guys
Oh,
like
yeah, she
Silence
definitely
of the
does.
Lambs, by the way?
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen
I mean,
I think it was a good movie.
it was a really good movie.
It's weird.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the lady actress.
Are you talking about the OG one? Like
Yeah.
the cop?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Just
think
like-
she was just a little too dramatic.
it wasn't even her acting, dude. It was just like the way she talked.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't get behind it. I don't know.
I haven't seen the other ones,
Disco?
but
Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, but like the movie itself is
the
amazing.
dancing scene's
Dude,
crazy.
It's such a good movie.
yeah.
It really is.
It like sets the standard for like I guess that's more of a thriller than a horror.
Well, so since we're on the topic of serial, what's up with the fad, dude? What's up with the fad of like serial killers? We got the Ted Bundy stuff. We got the
I
Whatever
think
that
okay,
is.
I think serial killers are fascinating because people don't want to acknowledge the evil that exists in the world, and it's just such a glaring thing.
fantasize over how they are as people.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we all internally have a little bit of that in us. We don't act on it, but
Maybe it
it's
was
human. You have
maybe
to be
it
able
was
to
you.
do that.
Maybe it was somebody else who was saying like
You don't
everybody's.
think so? Hang on, go ahead, argue with me.
Hang on, no.
I-
Well, I want to say this real quick. and I want to say it was you who said this to me, but maybe it was somebody else. But it was like everybody. It's like good to have the thought about killing somebody, but the fact that you don't proves that you're a good person.
Yeah, okay. I guess what
Like, that is-
I think I misconstrued what you were saying in my head. That's 100% facts.
Yeah.
I think that just means you're conducive to society.
Yeah.
Because we are barbaric in nature and in our genetics and DNA. It's deeply ingrained in
Like
us.
you inherently
but
know
I
that's
think,
a bad thing to do.
Yeah, but the thing is, 100 or not 100, but 500 years ago, I don't think killing someone was inherently
Dude,
societally.
the Wild West, they'd bounty hunters. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
this guy, he kind of sucks. We're gonna pay you to go
Like,
kill him.
this
Yeah.
is my pool table.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nick's like, no.
I'm
so, so I don't think everyone has a little serial killer in them. I think everyone has a little
A
bit
little
of.
Chucky.
Oh, dude, those were terrible.
You won't
movies.
like me when I'm angry.
Those are terrible movies.
It's the Hulk.
The Hulkaholic. You won't like me when I'm sober.
Oh, that was another joke. No, but I think you said it right. We all have the propensity for violence.
Yeah,
Serial killing's weird because it's just like manipulative.
I
it's
think-
like very intentional.
I think it was more of
Yeah,
I
for
think
bad
a
reasons.
fascination of how dark the human can get. I think that's what it is because I watched a lot of Ted Bundy documentary stuff, and to me, it's just so fascinating that someone can just flip a switch like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, it's
you're
literally like
you're continuously
Yeah.
a great person. You're going to school. You've got a girlfriend who has a child, and you are great to
act like a
both of
dad to
them.
that child?
Yeah, and then on Tuesday night, you're like, well, I got to go put on a cast, club some.
I'm going to the
You know.
bowling league.
Yeah, exactly, and you just murk someone.
Yeah.
I think the
Time to go roll some strikes.
what?
You just walk up and you're just like,
about to go murk somebody.
Okay.
just like walk up and it's like pipe wrench to the back of the head.
Yeah, it's just.
Thought about this clearly.
No.
I think,
yes.
and if you guys have watched like any of Ted Bundy's like real
Whenever you look up.
real interviews, it's weird because you can kind of see him like not morph. That's the wrong word, but
See a Power Ranger.
Power Rangers assemble.
but you can kind of see him like at certain topics, Like it's almost like his eyes go dark. You
Well,
know
it's
what
like-
I'm saying?
there's,
Like
like, certain
obviously
things
it
that, like-
doesn't, but like there's a
Yeah.
mental where he has the charisma on,
Yeah.
and then he turns it off, and you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
who's that-
evil.
Who's that rapper who's the multiple personality disorder? And it's literally he's doing an interview and he starts laughing and then all of a sudden the laugh changes and like his face just goes completely different and then
Yeah.
he comes back, he's like, oh, that was Melvin, sorry.
Yeah,
this guy?
YNW Melly.
Yeah, exactly, Melly. Which is great. I mean, dude, yeah. I mean, the interview's wild to watch because he literally acknowledges the fact that it was his other personality.
Yeah, well, that other personality killed someone, so
Yeah.
we'll see you later.
And his compositions, "Murder on My Mind" is
Yeah.
the name of it. That's sketchy. We should probably watch him.
Yeah.
No, he's in jail.
Yeah, he's in jail.
Double murder.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you
Tough
go.
scene.
Double
Shoulda watched him.
homicide.
Shoulda.
Okay, wait. Oh, you guys want to hear? We don't have to talk about this in depth, but something to ponder on. Someone
Food
with
for thought.
someone with multi-personality disorder, should they be arrested for killing someone when it wasn't their main personality?
Yes.
Was their vessel, their body, the one that committed the crime?
Their body committed the crime.
The
but
vessel that can
there
that
there
holds
is
both.
there are legitimate legal arguments that
They were not in the mental state to make the proper decisions.
yeah.
Yes. So I get that, and
The
I understand-
insanity clause. I still think it's at the least they should not be allowed to live in society. I don't know if
No,
that's
you-
prison or psychiatric care.
Maybe they don't
but-
have to be in. Yeah, like.
But
a,
there's
a
there's
ward
like
for the criminally insane. but-
videos of like we had to watch this for one of my law classes where someone with multiple personality syndrome came like snapped out of the other personality and was covered in blood and they had him detained and he was like it was clear as day. He's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And they're just like,
You just murdered.
you just
this
murdered
person.
the person.
Like,
and
you did-
he
you did the
just
deed.
freaks out, starts bawling his
Actually-
eyes. It's a very, very fascinating legal question.
Yeah, because I actually do want to talk about this because you're kind of like, all right, one of your personalities did it for sure,
Yeah, so
but like we can't just let you back
Here's the
out. But
you-
then also like we feel bad because then there's this part.
No,
of
no,
me
there's no
believe-
feeling bad. You have to understand the fact that they cannot control when certain personalities take over.
Yeah.
Like that's a reason why it's an issue.
I know, but that's the same reason why you almost feel an inclination to say, "I'm sorry." That's really tough, but like, part of you
Yeah.
kills people.
Be like, well, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
you have the ability to just go completely blank slate. Like the plane leaves and another plane lands, and that plane blows up, literally.
what?
So no,
I
like,
got,
I'm
I got,
talking
I
about
got
the
what you were
mind.
going for.
Like it's
yeah.
an
I got
analogy,
you.
but
I got you.
The good plane takes off, another plane lands, and it's like, okay, we're here to mess shit
but
up.
they're the same plane.
No, they're not. They're
No,
that's-
here's
there's
what it
two
is.
separate planes
No,
because
nope.
there's two personalities.
Nope. It's one plane, and there's a hijacker in the back of the plane, and sometimes the hijacker
Okay,
comes,
so the
takes
pilot-
over the
Like this.
plane.
So there's
Yeah.
either
from the other
there's
pilot,
either
but
the
then
pilot that
sometimes
should be there or
the
there's the
co-pilot.
hijacker.
Sometimes the co-pilot fights back on the hijacker. So it's
So
just a
we're
consistent
simply just
battle.
placing two different analogies in the same place.
Yeah, I was just trying to build
Okay.
up on the one you had.
But at the same time, too, it's like you cannot be. Obviously not a. You can't be a member of society if you're going to be in an
100%.
endangerment to society.
But did that mean they should get the death sentence?
No, I mean, so the death sentence itself is just a touchy subject. I mean, there's people who are
That-
very for it. There's people who are very against it. There's people who see it as a humane way of putting people out of their misery because they obviously are
Saves
producing
money.
members of society. There's economics that play into it.
That was a really bad joke to make.
It's kind of, I mean, at the same time, there's plenty of people that make that same argument. I don't know if death sentence is the right way to go about it. Each state has their own way of handling it, but I don't think
Texas is like, give them the chair. Give both of them the chairs, even though I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah,
only
I
one
think
of them.
placing them in a controlled environment where they can be monitored is the best way to go about handling them.
Yeah, but then they're going to be trying to convince you, hey, there's a side of me that just wants to live a normal life. And you're
Like, yeah, there's the
restraining
other
that.
side of you that also wants to
you
kill
can't.
people.
Yeah, but no, okay, so you can't. I don't think anyone, logically speaking, is going to let that person roam free.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, do you lock him up for life? Do you give him psychiatric care? Can you legally charge him or her, for something that maybe they didn't actually do? Like, All right. I also think we don't really understand what our consciousness is as a whole.
Would you say, hang on, let me propose this idea. I don't know if it's going to work, and I don't know if it's the right way to go about describing it, but we talk about instincts. Like, you can domesticate animals.
Yeah.
And, like, animals can act like they're, you know, a part of the family, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, all of a sudden something happens, that animal freaks out, bang, bites a face off.
Yeah,
Because
but that's all the same animal, though, isn't it?
it is the same animal, but what do you do with that animal? You obviously, like, it's no longer a suitable member to be around other people, so therefore you have to either send it away or it's euthanized. Now,
Yeah.
that's a pretty crude way of comparing it to a human life, but
Even though we are animals.
if there's a multiple personality disorder, that means there's inherently an underlying instinct that could possibly arise that's going to say, yeah, we're just going to kill this person. Because
Yeah.
my mind is telling me to do this, and therefore I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think there is a level of empathy we should feel for those people because it's not like they were born wanting to be with
Yeah.
multi-personality
I
disorder.
do want to feel empathy, but I also don't want to be the reason why someone else died.
Oh, yeah.
because
No,
they
no, no.
wanted that.
I said empathy, not.
luckily for you,
I
you're
said
not
Yeah,
empathy.
yeah,
I know.
not-
You're not wrong.
I mean,
Wow.
unless,
So-
you're on jury duty.
This
So,
is
yeah.
impossible to answer.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're trying to think of them as one person. But
That's
like
why
you
it's such a
can't.
controversial
So,
topic.
so what my stance on it was, in my humble opinion, you have to lock them up because
think I
because there's okay. Here's the thing: you can't get treatment to the best of my knowledge and what was presented in that class, which might not be the ultimate. It's either, and you know, I could be completely wrong on this, and then my stance would change because I think with information you should be able to change your stance. If you can't treat multi-personality syndrome or disorder, you can't ever solve it.
No.
So why would you waste resources and a lot of money on something on someone that's just going to spend the rest of his life in a mental institution
Can we
anyways?
solve any mental illness?
Yeah, I think
There's a handful that we can definitely
Yeah.
do some good for.
yeah.
Do some good for, but can we solve?
All right, let me make a side argument. Are you done? I want to make sure you speak.
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying, like, if they're to sum it up, if we don't have a correct method to solve multi-personality syndrome,
Yeah.
then why waste the time and money and resources on something that could be done to do better? And those are tough decisions to have and tough discussions to have, but there is a reality, and all of life isn't hunky dory. So you have to make a call at some point.
Yeah, but we also I'm gonna say also lock them up. I'm gonna say lock them up because we don't usually lock people up for being murderers. We lock people up because they murdered somebody. And so even if you have two personalities, you still murdered somebody with one of those personalities.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've broken that part of the law. There might be a part of you that's not a murderer, but that's not the reason why we lock you up. We
Yep.
lock you up for the action that you did.
Yep.
So I'm sorry that you've been dealt a very, very unideal hand, but this is the best thing I can think to do.
All right, this is on the same thought process. You own a Tesla. You are practicing the summoning thing, and it
wish.
runs a stop sign.
Bang.
Can you get a ticket
Kills
for
family
that?
4.
Oh my god. I can't answer that question. Are you kidding me? Elon's in trouble.
Because to
His
me,
fault.
Well, yeah,
in that
you could
case,
definitely put it on the manufacturer.
in that case, it's on the manufacturer. But in the human
But
aspect
you
of
pushed the
it,
button.
yeah, exactly.
You called that
But not
car.
with the intention.
Yeah, but intention, you can still get manslaughter.
But that also
What?
well, if you suffer from multiple personalities, you have to suffer the consequences from having that other
I-
personality.
I agree. But also, if you
That
own
other
it-
personality
if you-
pushed the
if
button
you-
with
if
the
you-
intention of killing.
Yeah, but if you own a Tesla, so that would be murder. But if you own a Tesla and click the summon button and it murks a family of 4, there was an intention, but there was still the action, and manslaughter still gets prosecuted.
I know. That's a tough one to actually.
So I mean,
I
maybe,
mean,
maybe that
these
just
are good
ultimately ends in a cliffhanger because there's no easy way to really break it
No.
down and describe or ultimately conclude what's the best course of action or why certain things happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that I can officially tell you, Tim, from my point of view, is the fact that brewing beer 60 miles south of the Arctic Circle is the shit. And
Yeah,
most
dude.
people should
It's not-
definitely
Okay,
do
we
it.
didn't even talk about this. This beer was awesome.
It
This
is
beer is
good.
absolutely like this. I'm probably gonna get more of this. I loved this beer.
Sips nice and easy. I'm all about it. Hey, I mean, the strongest
Thank
man
you,
in the
Einstein.
world's from Iceland.
It's-
one
it's-
of the
drinks
greatest beers
Einstök.
potentially in the world is from Iceland.
You know he drinks it.
It's
It won a
phenomenal
gold medal,
stuff.
people. If you find a stock,
Einstök.
pick it up.
But cool. All right. Well, everyone, I think we had a lot of fun, or we had a lot of.
Crazy debate.
Yeah,
this
this was
is.
a-
I
this
don't
was
think
good-
this is going to
good
be the
combo, boys.
majority of the podcast we drop, but
I think
every
if it
once
is,
in a
it is.
while,
If it's not,
it's
it's not.
great to talk about some serious issues and get into a little deeper psychological.
We're
and,
trying to make the people think.
yeah, philosophical
We're
analyzation.
analyzing the people,
Trying to figure out
giving our own
words.
opinions. We're breaking shit down as it needs to be broken down.
We had a lot of fun with it, but when it comes to the issues we talked about at the end there, I hope that you guys comment down below, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
would
as
love to
far
get your perspective.
as
If you guys have any perspective on it, or you guys have topics of conversation that you want us to touch on, let us know. Drop them down below in the comment section. Hit us up on the Instagram. Slide into those DMs. We're here for it.
definitely. Other than that, I think that's all we got, boys. Anything from you guys?
No.
Cool.
All
All right.
Happy episode 20.
That was
Thanks
a
for
really
tuning in, y'all.
awkward handshake. Let's get.
Boom.
There
Ooh,
we go.
solid.
All right. Cheers, y'all. Stay solid, buzz.